He's nonverbal and has cognitive impairments. If you see him or if you know anything, call 911 immediately.
It's primary day here in Charlotte. Polls opening about 30 minutes ago. This year's primary races include the mayor's office, 4 at-large city council seats, and several district seats as well. The mayoral race in districts 1, 3, 4, and 5 are Democratic primaries, while District 6 is a Republican primary. Voters need to make sure bring your ID and vote at their assigned precinct today. More information on voter registration cards and everything else on the Mecklenburg County Board of Elections website.
North Carolina Governor Josh Stein is praising the DMV's recent hiring efforts. The so-called mini budget signed last month included new funding for 41 new licensed examiners across the state. The governor says these positions have all been filled, and he says he is proud of the quick hiring work, but continues to urge lawmakers to pass a full budget with more funds to address the department's issues.
All right, let's get to the most important thing as you are heading out the door and starting your morning commute. If you take I-85 northbound out towards McAdenville, you got some backups. An accident this morning at exit 22. It's still backed up to about exit 19, so delays are expected. Stop and go traffic, so I would avoid that area instead. You might want to consider taking Highway 74 inbound instead. You can see some of those drive times, about 46 minutes if you're coming in from Gastonia and 25 if you're coming in from Belmont. Chris.
Thanks a lot, Majestic. Well, nothing really to write home about. It's just a beautiful forecast. Maybe that is something to write home about. 77 is the bottom, 87 is the top. Overall, a beautiful forecast.
All right, a reminder the news doesn't end here. Coming up at 7 o'clock over on WCNC Plus, continuing coverage on the deadly light rail stabbing that claimed the life of 23-year-old Irina Zaruska. We'll bring you up to speed on our reporting and speak with a criminal science professor about what happens next.
It starts at 7 o'clock on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. Thanks for streaming with us right now on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look outside this morning. We're going to check in with Majestic momentarily for an update on your morning commute if you're heading out today. First, though, we're going to switch things over to our weather and check in with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy to find out more about the WCNC weather impact forecast.
And the best thing are there are very little impacts, maybe none at all. The only impact is that we're going to be outside more because it's that beautiful, right? Now, we have multiple examples how our sky is looking. It just depends where you are. We still have some thicker clouds that are over the Queen City. We're seeing a nice break in the clouds over Dallas and up in Lake Norman. And then you can see off in the distance even just a little bit of red refracting through because as that sun has officially risen up for the day. And those clouds are going to get out of here eventually. And we've officially gained 1 degree compared to what we had just last hour. We dropped down to 54 degrees around Charlotte. That officially was the coldest low of the season and the coldest we've had since May 24th. That's 109 days ago. So if you walk out and you're like, wow, it's chilly today. Yep, we haven't done this in over 100 days. Whew, we are feeling it. Before that, the coolest was 58 degrees that we did a number of times to start off September. The 50s, the 40s, that's where you want to be for your dew points. That feels so good, so great. And we're going to continue that forecast for at least the next couple of days. Things start to get a little bit stickier. I'm barely around that humid line by about Thursday and beyond. But if I were to pick my favorite days, it definitely was yesterday, today, and then tomorrow. So those all days almost a carbon copy of one another. Tomorrow looks just to be a little bit warmer and less breezy. Pumpkin spice forecast. Yep, we start off in the mid 50s, so got that high, that temperature right at 7 o'clock, 55, and then we have the lower to the mid 70s kicking off the afternoon. I think that we just barely get up to that 77 mark, and no rain today, no rain tomorrow. Then after the next and through the weekend heading into Monday. The only thing that could shift is we have some rain on Monday night heading into next Tuesday, but over the next 7 days, we got a bunch of dry. Everybody, for our future cast, you see those clouds mainly further off towards the east, and then they're going to be back and forth. So the ones that are going to have the most cloud cover that were essentially attached to this system that's right off the shoreline is really further east that you go here in Stanley, Anson, Richmond, and Chesterfield County, but most of us are dealing with wall-to-wall sunshine through the day. Same thing for your Wednesday. Things starting to get a little iffy Wednesday night heading into Thursday. A few sprinkles possible in our eastern zones. Charlotte, your next chance for a sprinkle or two is really late Thursday heading into Friday morning, but not a lot is really happening here. And then the outside discussion, tropical development. Nope, this is the exact verbiage that you go to the National Hurricane Center's website. Tropical cyclone activity not expected over the next 7 days. I do think that that will change after day 7 because the environment in the southern Atlantic and the Caribbean becomes a little bit more favorable for any low pressure system to turn into a tropical depression and or a tropical storm. But for right now, we will enjoy a docile tropics, a calm 7-day forecast, and nothing really to worry about from the weather department. Nice range of 77 today, up to 87 for the warmest day over the next 10. On Monday, rain free in between. Really doesn't get much better than this for another week of September. So enjoy it. Hopefully our morning commute is going to match this, but this weather's really good.
Good morning, everyone. I think that's hard to compete with. Definitely. It's not quite as nice as the weather forecast, but at least this area doesn't look too bad. This is I-85 out there towards Graham Street. Traffic is flowing just fine there for your Tuesday morning. However, we now have a few accidents you need to know about. We'll start with this. This is going to be a backup for your morning commute. If you take I-85 northbound, we have an accident at Main Street. That's exit 22, and it's backed up to exit 19. You can see that red here. Again, those inbound lanes, meaning stop and go traffic. So if you just want to avoid that section of I-85, I would suggest doing that because delays are about 10 to 20 minutes. Take Highway 74 instead, just right below it. Drive times this morning look just like this: 26 minutes if you're coming in from Belmont and 23 if you're coming in from Matthews. I-85 north, as we're looking a little higher up, looks okay, but just off to the west of it, we do have an accident here that is active. It's at W.T. Harris Boulevard and Technology Drive. This has been ongoing for a while, but I'm not seeing significant delays for that morning commute quite yet. And then as we're looking at I-77, if you're coming in from York County, once you get into Mecklenburg County, then you're going to have some issues. As we're looking towards Union County, good morning to you. Out towards Monroe, you look fine. Unionville, no big problems. If you're going to be heading up towards Matthews, we do have some congestion starting 485 out towards Matthews, and Cabarrus County looks all right for now. We'll have another check on area roadways next time I see you back here.
Trending this morning, all eyes here on Charlotte as the horrific video of the deadly stabbing of Irina Zarutska continues to circulate, reaching the highest levels of U.S. government. The U.S. Transportation Secretary says that starting today, he is going to start an investigation into the murder there on the light rail a few weeks ago. Overnight, telling Fox News that he's considering pulling federal funding the city receives for transit. Now, in a prior statement, Sean Duffy says he stands firm with the president's message of zero tolerance for criminality or crimes, especially on federally funded public transportation. Of course, that could have a big impact on the city's transit plan on the ballot this November, which does rely on federal funding.
The surveillance video of that attack reaching all the way to the White House. We know the president watched the video and listen to what he had to say.
I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic. Just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible, but just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there. So they're evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
So we reached out to the White House to find out if the president has any plans to send National Guard troops to Charlotte. The White House responded in part saying they won't speculate on any policy decisions at this moment, adding that the president cares about ensuring all cities across the country remain safe.
As for local leaders, Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles announced more CAT security personnel will be placed on Blue Line platforms starting immediately.
WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay breaks down what you need to know about those changes and why some writers say it is still not enough.
Starting now, Blue Line stops like this will look different. Mayor Vi Lyles announcing on X Monday evening that CAT security personnel will be redeployed for a stronger presence on platforms and to increase fare enforcement. CMPD will also increase patrols at key areas across the transit system. But for some riders, the damage is already done.
Unfortunately, now I don't think I will ever step foot on the train again.
DeCarlos Brown is charged with stabbing Irina Zarutska to death last month. The attack was random and unprovoked. Brown had a long criminal record and did not have a valid ticket to ride the night of the incident. Mayor Vi Lyles says in part, quote, "This was a tragic failure by the courts and magistrates. Our police officers arrest people only to have them quickly released, which undermines our ability to protect our community and ensure safety. We need a bipartisan solution to address repeat offenders who do not face consequences for their actions and those who cannot get treatment for their mental illnesses and are allowed to be on the streets."
My understanding is that it was a homeless person with a long track record. It'd be better to have policies that prevent someone like that from even happening in society in the sense that they're taken care of.
Lyles says there will also be more safety initiatives rolling out in the next few weeks, including adding nearly 30 personnel to CAT's security team. Later this month, City Council will vote on increasing the authority of that system.
All right, and you can bet safety is going to be the forefront of voters' minds as they head to the polls today to cast their ballot in the city's primary.
That's right. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards previews some of those big races and some last-minute reminders for voters. Destiny, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, polls have been open for a little over 30 minutes now. We're at one polling site in West Charlotte. Not any big lines that we're seeing, just some people, steadily going in and out. But the most important thing to know is your assigned polling place today. You also need to make sure that you have an acceptable form of photo ID. And of course, you need to know what is going to be on the ballot. So in this year's primary election, it includes races for the mayor's office, 4 at-large city council seats, and several district contests. What you'll see on your ballot will depend on if you're registered with a party or unaffiliated. The mayoral race in districts 1, 3, 4, and 5 are all Democratic primaries, while District 6 is a Republican primary. The winners of districts 1, 4, and 5 will be decided once results are final, since there are no Republican challengers in November. Now, voters need to bring a photo ID and vote at their assigned precinct today. That information can be found on your voter registration card or on the Mecklenburg County Board of Elections website. After polls close tonight, the Board of Elections says they'll continue to work on tabulating and processing provisional and absentee ballots.
The results we put out on Tuesday night are always unofficial results because we still have provisionals to go through and any cure processes. Anybody who has an absentee ballot They need to get that back to me by the close of business on Tuesday, the close of election on Tuesday.
Yeah, those absentee ballots need to be turned in person to the Mecklenburg County Board of Elections office in Midtown. We have more information on that and everything else you need to know before you head to the polls. And that is in this story on the WCNC Charlotte News app. Again, polls close tonight at 7:30. We'll of course keep you updated on that, as well as when the results start coming in. But again, nothing is official until they're all counted. All the ballots are counted and certified. I'll send it back to you guys live here from West Charlotte.
And Destiny, I know it's really early, but have you seen any voters yet? I mean, it's been open now for about 40 minutes. Anybody going in?
Yeah, again, we've been seeing people just steadily going in and out here at St. Mark's United Methodist Church. This is the polling site that we're at. No crazy lines or anything like that. We've also been seeing Warren Turner's campaign team for District 3. We saw Tijuana Brown here a little bit earlier. She has since left. Of course, they are running against Joy Mayo for District 3. So a lot of races to consider here. You can also see a sample ballot to know, who's going to be on your ballot, who you're voting for. That's also on the Mecklenburg County Board of Elections website. But yeah, things are pretty calm right now. Of course, we'll probably see more people during the lunch hour, but lots of time to vote until 7:30 tonight.
And hopefully there will be good turnout for it. All right, Destiny, thanks so much.
Coming up, President Trump fighting off more accusations about being involved with Jeffrey Epstein. That's coming your way right here.
.14 right now. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus. A live look at the White House this morning, where President Trump is fighting off more scathing Jeffrey Epstein allegations, this time involving a picture.
Now Democrats point to an alleged 2003 birthday card from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein found in newly subpoenaed files. But this morning, President Trump is denying any connection to it.
As NBC's Alice Barr tells us, he is instead emphasizing crime and immigration.
Divided attention in Washington this morning as President Trump keeps his sights on crime and immigration. A first look at a birthday message he allegedly wrote in 2003 to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is grabbing headlines. It's a drawing of a woman's torso around an imagined conversation that reads in part, quote, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." The White House arguing it's a fake and not the president's signature, echoed by Republican lawmakers.
To me, it's just bogus. The whole thing is bogus right now.
President Trump has denied having anything to do with the letter first reported by the Wall Street Journal in July, prompting him to file a $10 billion defamation lawsuit. The House Oversight Committee released it Monday as part of a trove of subpoenaed Epstein documents.
The president now is walking into his own lie and cover-up.
The president focused instead on his immigration crackdown, with the Department of Homeland Security confirming it's launched a new ICE operation in Chicago, branded Operation Midway Blitz. No sign yet of a threatened National Guard deployment to crack down on crime.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
City and state leaders calling it all unnecessary, though a new Supreme Court ruling may limit their ability to push back. The High Court's conservative majority lifted restrictions on ICE operations in Los Angeles, putting a hold on a lower court ruling that blocked patrols and raids based on broad criteria like speaking Spanish. The White House rejecting critics' allegations of racial profiling, insisting ICE detentions are based on a multitude of factors. Also on immigration, top officials from South Korea are heading to the U.S. after hundreds of South Korean nationals were arrested Friday at a Hyundai plant in Georgia. The officials planning to charter a plane to bring the workers home. 3 Japanese nationals were also among those detained. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Coming up, Chris has an update on your weather impact forecast.
Well, good morning, everybody. Check this out on top of Beach Mountain here. Really excited. Look at that. Just watching deers just enjoying themselves. Oh, dear. And there's another one over here as well. Oh, you can see it right here. Yeah. This is what weather people do in their spare time, to see what's going on through their expansive camera network. So good morning, deer on top of Beach Mountain, and good morning to everyone that's lived in the mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then we go to the opposite end of our viewing area, Lylesville, Anson County, just some upper level clouds. We're going to get a lot of this cloud cover, get it out of here. But the main thing about today is really the further east that you go, we have a solid area of clouds that along the shoreline, it's not really great beach days because that cloud cover is really taken over. And it's also associated with a nearby system that just doesn't want to go anywhere. So check out our futurecast. The further east that you live, pretty much from Albemarle, Wadesboro east, you're going to have more clouds today, and the same thing for tomorrow. At most, you have a passing cloud overnight tonight, where I think the mornings are going to be a little bit cloudier. And then for your Wednesday, we do it again. We clear things out right along the I-77 corridor. A few clouds overnight heading into Thursday, but all in all, not too bad. But today is the falliest of all the fall-like days, where today is 77 high, and then we have really the lower to the mid-80s after that. Tomorrow is really close to what we have today. I have a high of 80 degrees. It means that we're still hovering in the mid to the upper 70s most of the afternoon. But I think you're going to have sunshine all day long, just as we recently had. And it's by about the mid-morning to the early afternoon. So it's called between about 9 to 3 o'clock. That's where I think you're going to have some of the gustiest winds, and the peak will be right around that noon hour, where you could have some gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. Since it is on the cooler side, that could be chilly for you, especially out of the cooler direction. And this is the bottom, y'all. This is going to be the coolest day that we're going to have, at least over the next 10. Other than that, the mid-80s are taking over, so that'll be a nice little above average trend if that is what you were wishing for. And then our low temperatures this morning was also the bottom of that. We hit 54 degrees. It's the coolest one we've had in over 100 days. And then we're in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, and then those lower 60s taking over. And then last but not least, our rain chances. Don't worry about them in the near term. Staying dry through the weekend. Do pop up that usual 20% isolated storm chance come Tuesday and beyond. Feeling a little bit more humid at that point. So enjoy fall before summer turns back on. Majestic, what's going on for traffic-wise?
Good morning. Well, let's start with this. Live camera looks. This is coming in from I-85, 721 if you're heading out the door. Not too bad, at least right here. It's beautiful. It's a little crisp. 721, but you can see my maps here starting to pick up. Still following this as it is not cleared yet. I-85, there is an accident at exit 22, still backed up a few miles. You can see that red here indicating that stop and go traffic. So if you want to avoid that part of I-85 because it's moving so slowly, you might want to just consider taking Highway 74 instead. New accident right here. You can see a lane is blocked because of a crash. It's on Steel Creek Road at Sam Neely Road. You can see it's mainly those northbound lanes, stop and go to slow traffic. So continuing to keep you up to date with that. I-77 coming in from York County. We're starting to see those typical backups, mainly once you head into Mecklenburg County. And then this right here is a bit of a mess. The entry ramp to I-85 northbound at exit 33 from Billy Graham Parkway. The ramp is closed because of a crash, and then the turning lane is blocked because of a crash right in the same area. I'll keep a close eye on it and give you another update here shortly.
Majestic thinks a 9-year-old Pennsylvania boy is on his way to becoming a real-life Doogie Howser.
Aiden Wilkins just started college and is now studying neuroscience, and now he wants to help other kids.
Academics has always been easy for this 9-year-old freshman in college. On Monday, he started off his week at Ursinus College.
Ever since I was 3, a lot younger, I've been watching anatomy videos, and I was always fascinated when I saw the brain.
In a classroom filled with 18 to 20-year-olds, Aiden is working to make his dream come true as a pediatric neurosurgeon.
The reason why I want to be a pediatric neurosurgeon is mainly because, well, I like helping kids around my age.
3 times a week, Aiden can be seen hitting the books at Ursinus College. The other days, he's taking virtual classes at Reach Cyber Charter School as a sophomore in high school. At just 9 years old, Aiden Wilkins is the youngest student in history at Ursinus College.
It's exciting because he's making history. I think him being in this classroom, he feels, people see me now, and I think that's so important to be seen and heard.
Aiden's mom, Veronica Wilkins, says she knew her son was gifted the moment he was able to speak.
He was reading signs and correcting people's sentences, and he was actually correcting sentences. And writing algebraic equations.
And 3 years ago, he passed a gifted test administered by his high school. And about a year ago, Aiden made it clear he wanted a new challenge. His mother did the research and landed on Ursinus College for its courses and its proximity to their home near Collegeville.
As a mom, how proud are you of Aiden?
I am extremely proud of Aiden because it's all him. It's all organic. I'm just, behind the scenes helping to navigate his interests and his desires. So I'm extremely proud of him, and he goes for what he wants.
Aiden wants everyone to know anything is possible.
All you have to do is put the work into it to do whatever you want.
What were you doing at 9?
Fourth grade.
Crazy.
I'm going to call my kids and see what they, CMS is out of school today. I need to see what they're doing on their day off.
But you know, you said it earlier. I mean, kudos to the kid, but also
Kudos to that mom.
Yep, the mom, the parents. I mean,
because
wow.
here's the thing, you've got to keep up with that. Like you've got to keep him entertained. You got to keep him, learning and feed those interests.
Yeah. Because even if you're born with a child like that, you still got to engage with them and make sure that you foster that growth.
Yes.
Incredible. All right, we're going to take a quick break. As we take a live look right now over Uptown Charlotte, right now it's 7:25. We're back right here on WCNC Plus.
Ooh, we are feeling that chill this morning. 55 degrees right now around Charlotte. It is 48 for you in Salisbury, 38 rocking around Boone and Watauga. So yeah, jacket weather for some of you. And a pleasant and super sunny day on the way. Yesterday we were at 77 degrees. Guess what? We're doing that again. And then those temperatures jumping up to the mid 70s throughout the middle of the afternoon. Feeling great and super dry. Overnight tonight, it'll be another cool one, but not as cool as this morning. The upper 50s joining us for your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then right around 60 degrees completing the weekend. For that 7-day forecast, on the way up, 77 to 80 degrees. Today and tomorrow, very similar days. Both have a few more clouds to start off the day. And after that, lower to the mid 80s, staying dry through the weekend into next week as we're back to 87 degrees. Majestic, what do we know about your morning commute so far?
Let's get to it. This is I-85 here. Beautiful start to the day. A bit cool as well. Feeling like fall. Shouldn't have any major concerns unless you're out towards I-85. If you take that northbound, we're still following this active crash. It happened at exit 22. That's Main Street, but it's still backed up to exit 19. So if you want to avoid it, here's your best alternate route. Simply just take Highway 74 instead. And then we're also watching this, a lane that's blocked because of a crash. It's at Still Creek Road and Sam Neely Road. We do have some delays because of it. We'll have everything you need to know coming up on WCNC Plus. Hope to see you over there soon.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Just months after Hurricane Helene, wildfires ripped through Southern California. The story made national headlines for weeks, but with Western North Carolina still devastated, a lot of folks became frustrated, feeling like help was going to rebuild homes out west instead of here.
As WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito discovered, the response by the federal government was pretty much the same, with survivors in both states waiting on the federal government to come through with most of the money requested to help them recover.
It's unclear if North Carolina will get all the money requested, but we know officials are working with the state's congressional delegation to try to get as much as possible. Still desperate for billions of dollars more. Some scars you can see.
We're going down to the location of where our bridge used to be.
Others are hidden.
Until our new bridge is put in and our roads are done, it's trauma every day.
Helene, with its floodwaters and landslides, washed away this Buncombe County community's bridge. So Michelle Pentecost and others have spent months cutting through neighbors' properties to get to their side of the creek. The temporary solution is a constant reminder.
You know, we can't completely begin healing though until our new bridge is in place and our roads are fixed and you know, we can feel like we're back to being a community again.
She says most of the homes in this holler have received money from FEMA to go toward a new, bigger bridge to accommodate the now wider creek.
Some of the money came out early. And then the rest of it kind of trickled in.
The goal is to pool that money with a private donation to eventually connect both sides again, hopefully by the end of 2025.
It's overwhelming. There's just too many things that need to be done and too many people that need help.
Pentecost is grateful the federal government has awarded money to her community, knowing the extent of devastation across Western North Carolina and other parts of the country.
I just don't think there's enough resources for everybody.
While the January wildfires in Southern California, for example, destroyed fewer homes and directly led to fewer deaths than Helene.
We're going to need your support.
The governor there has requested more than twice as much from the federal government compared to North Carolina.
The federal government still has to do so much more.
Both states continue to wait on most of the money requested. North Carolina estimates Helene caused almost $60 billion worth of damages and needs, the most costly storm in the state's history, both in lives and property loss. State data shows, like California, North Carolina has pitched in money toward recovery at $2.9 billion, slightly more than California has. In the meantime, records show the federal government has given or approved just under $5 billion of the almost $19 billion requested. A spokesperson for California's governor told us the federal government has directed $6 billion of the $40 billion requested there so far. More money, but a smaller percentage.
We are not going anywhere.
Since the beginning, FEMA has insisted the agency would not move resources away from North Carolina to respond to the California wildfires, noting the federal government has enough funding to support recovery efforts in multiple areas.
You know, compared to what it was,
in Buncombe County,
it's a lot different, it's a lot better.
Pentecost and her neighbors know what it took to get help for their bridge project.
You almost have to be the squeaky wheel.
They recently removed most of the destruction from the creek.
The new bridge is going to start right there at that corner.
And in the not-so-distant future, we'll use the federal money.
I mean, it's a bridge home.
To heal some of their many scars. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
Thanks a lot, Nate, and luckily we don't have anything major to talk about for this week, but it's really been the end of September to October that we've had the worst storms, at least over the last 5 years especially. Dallas looking gorgeous. We still are dealing with some clouds this morning. I think the cloudiest part of the day is right now this morning before we will see more of that wall-to-wall sunshine scenario a little bit later on. And let's check up on Beach Mountain again, seeing a beautiful shot yonder, a little bit of valley fog up there, but all in all, it is absolutely gorgeous. We were watching some deer earlier. Oh, it was fantastic. They were having a great time up there. And hopefully you're having a great time so far this morning. Beautiful sun through our Monroe cameras. You can see there. Charlotte's still dealing with a pinkish sky off in the distance on top of our WCNC tower cam. 55 degrees. That's the current temperature right now. We are feeling the chill this morning. And 50 degrees around Wadesboro, 54 around Hickory, and then still 38 for you around Boone. So technically where we were just looking on top of Beach Mountain, a little bit closer to freezing. Can't believe I'm saying that word. The morning low this morning was 54, which, by the way, is the coldest low we've had since May 24, so 109 days ago. That's the stat of the morning. Dew points, well, this is where you want to be. Anywhere from 45 to 55, I think, is the best range. Once you get down in the 30s, it almost starts to head the opposite direction. It's almost too dry. Below 30 is actually where you can have a little static electricity, and that's why we have such a high amount during the winter time. And then we're not seeing any humid spikes, at least over the next couple of days. We will see, I think, a slight change getting into your Thursday to Friday, seeing this ramp up a little bit, but barely, so just a little bit sticky before we're back to that comfortable zone for the weekend. Nothing like where we just were. When we were back close to 90 degrees, it was hot, it was humid on Friday and Saturday. I'm not seeing that right away, but I do think it is coming back sooner than you would think. Pumpkin spice forecast, absolutely. Then we might have to go to the ice version by the back end of the forecast, holding on to that sunshine. And our rainfall forecast, dry. Whole lot of nothing. This is great. This is what you want to see. This is a perfect forecast, great for doing anything outside. At most, you might have a sprinkle. That's Thursday heading into Friday. And I said that yesterday. I'm even going to discount that. But from Albemarle, Wadesboro to the east, I think that's going to be a better chance. That's where we're seeing some passing clouds over the next few days. As you can see, this brings us into Wednesday at 11 p.m. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of this is interacting with some dry air, so it's going to be on the struggle bus, trying to even hit the surface. But then Thursday, late day, that's where you have a little bit of green, work its way a little bit further off towards the west. So this is where you have a chance for a sprinkle or maybe a light rain shower up in the high country. That's Thursday night heading into Friday. So during the day, we're still staying dry. One look at the tropics. Okay, we're done. This is literally the verbiage that you see on nhc.noaa.gov. That's the National Hurricane Center's website. Tropical cyclone activity not expected over the next 7 days. That's what we're talking about. That's always nice to see, especially at this time of the year, because guess what tomorrow is? September 10th. September 10th is the absolute middle and peak of hurricane season, and we have 7 days free of tropical development. That doesn't mean anything, because last year we did the same thing, and then next thing you know, every few days a new storm pops up, and one's even as strong as Helene, something that we'll watch very closely. Our 7-day forecast, nothing to worry about in the weather department from the tropics to the Charlotte area. 77 today, 87 is the top on Monday, but we will be in the mid-80s for most of the next 10 to 14 days, so above average forecast. So enjoy the cooler and more fall-like day while we have it. Let's head over to Majestic. What's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Well, I want to take you to South Carolina. This is I-77, specifically at Gold Hill. You can see there are a lot of cars out on those area roadways. They're moving a little slower, but no accidents or anything like that. It's just, I think more people are actually awake and out starting their morning commute. Do want to let you know, though, that we are still following this I-85. There was an accident here about an hour ago, and it's still not cleared. It's at exit 22, but it's backed up to exit 19. You can see all of the red right here. It's going to be those inbound lanes out towards McAdenville. So if you want to avoid that, don't take I-85 right there. Instead, you're going to want to take Highway 74 inbound. To the south we go. Look at all of that red. Again, stop and go because of one lane being blocked because of this crash. It's at Still Creek Road and Sam Neely Road. Look at all the red. That's going to be those northbound lanes there. As we zoom it out just a bit and head over towards the east, this is I-77. Remember Gold Hill, this is the traffic that's starting to build as they're heading towards Mecklenburg County. But again, no accidents, just kind of a busy start to the morning. And then to the north, these two have actually been cleared. There was just recently a couple of accidents here. Now they're all cleared, but you can still see some of those delays. So again, it's just going to slow you down a few minutes there. Off to the south we go. This is 485 out towards Matthews. No accidents, but definitely red starting to build, meaning that the morning commute is surely on the way. At 7:39, we'll have another check on those roads coming up here in the next 10 minutes or so.
Majestic, thanks. Right now, authorities are still looking for a missing 7-year-old from Asheboro. The sheriff's office says Liam King disappeared Sunday morning after being left alone outside for just a few minutes. He is nonverbal and has cognitive impairments. If you see him or if you know anything, call 911 immediately. Coming up, flu season will be here before you know it. Hear how you can help your family stay healthy.
7:42 right now on WCNC Plus, and this morning the American Academy of Family Physicians joins two other major medical groups in rejecting federal COVID-19 vaccine guidance. The group is recommending vaccinations for all kids from 6 months to 23 months and all adults 18 and older. The latest FDA guidance only approves vaccine for those 65 and older and those with health conditions that put them at higher risk. It comes as some states are now creating their own plans for vaccines. Florida's state surgeon general is working to eliminate vaccine mandates for school kids. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, just the opposite. The governor there issuing an executive order to protect vaccine access. Infectious disease specialists say the new federal guidelines are creating just more confusion.
We're confused and we're a little bit anxious about the changes. But I think one other way to think about it is the things that are not going to change. And those 65 and older will get the vaccine.
Now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting the Department of Health and Human Services plans to link autism with the use of a main ingredient in Tylenol when it comes to pregnancy. The maker of Tylenol says there's no actual link between the two.
Well, flu season is on the way. The CDC expects the upcoming season to be similar to last year's.
Part of keeping you and your family healthy involves testing for flu, but what about easily testing yourself at home? WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
We can pick up so many germs from all the places we visit, and with kids back in school and the fall season approaching, what are your options for testing at home for the flu? Let's verify.
Our sources to answer this, Dr. Onyinye Ibokwe with Novant Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Stats from the CDC show the rate of people getting flu vaccinations is down since the pandemic. With guidance possibly changing across the country, what at-home tests are currently available?
We have a lot of combo tests for COVID and flu because those are virus testing, right? So it's kind of a similar technology looking for proteins outside of these viruses.
Dr. Ibokwe says you should get a test within the first couple of days of feeling sick.
Because that's when first the virus is still making active copies and you can actually see it there, right? And most importantly, it's when we can actually do something about it.
When it comes to prevention, what are the best ways to avoid getting sick? The CDC recommends staying up to date with vaccinations, regularly washing your hands and cleaning common areas, and if you do have a fever, stay at home. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Happening today, Novant Health is teaming up with the American Red Cross for a blood drive to help patients with sickle cell disease. That disease can lead to chronic pain. It impacts about 100,000 Americans and disproportionately affects Black Americans. The drive runs from 1 until 5 p.m. at the St. Jude Affiliate Clinic. Appointments are encouraged.
Coming up, how one of our own is getting a national award. Hear how Brad Panovich went above and beyond to help those impacted by Helene. 7:48, streaming live right now on WCNC Plus. And here's a live look right now. This is at the Greater Raleigh Chamber of Commerce. They're having a first responders appreciation breakfast. We know the governor is there. He is expected to speak in just the next few minutes. As you can imagine from its title, this event is to thank first responders for their work to keep folks across North Carolina safe. This comes just a few weeks before the one-year anniversary of Hurricane Helene, so we know just how important those first responders are. The event also provides an opportunity for the business community to show their appreciation for all those folks as well. We are going to keep an eye on the situation, and if the governor starts speaking and makes any news, we'll be sure to cut in and bring it to you right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, speaking of keeping our neighbors safe, a big congratulations this morning to our own chief meteorologist, Brad Panovich, who was honored for his help with recovery efforts following Hurricane Helene. The National Weather Association presented Brad with the Special Appreciation Award. Shortly after that storm, Brad went above and beyond to help those impacted. Perhaps you remember seeing some of this video. This is actually from Brad's house, where he worked with other volunteers to bring supplies to those hurricane survivors.
I think it's really important as meteorologists that we remember all the weather forecasting we do, it doesn't matter unless you realize what you're doing it for, and it's for the people. There's still a human at the other end of this that is really important. So at the end of the day, I think it's important you remember why we do what we do.
I mean, he said it best. You have to remember why we do what we do. It's keeping people informed about the weather situation. And as he said, there are humans on there. It's not just you talking to a camera, but it's actually talking to people about things that impact them.
Yeah, and the thing with Brad is he's really good about the social science of meteorology, that he thinks about how do people think, how do they perceive this forecast.
So important.
It's not just numbers that we're uttering up here. So no, congratulations to Brad. Honestly, I've known Brad for 7 years, the entire time that I've been here, and I can say my knowledge has tripled just either directly or indirectly from learning from Brad. So thanks a lot and well deserved, my friend. Let's get right over to your forecast. And this is for you, the people on the other side. And thanks a lot for joining us here at WCNC Plus. Brad also won an AMS award, and both of those you don't apply for. They just are looking at the best of the best. So again, one big congratulations to Brad Panovich. And our fall-like weather, congratulations to us all that this is our forecast. This is amazing. We should be back in the lower 60s by the time we hit about 9 o'clock, and then we have sunshine, 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 and then the mid 70s really taking over for the afternoon. Yesterday we hit 77. Today we're going to hit 77, so very similar. Our day and nighttime forecast, wait a second. What's going on here? Well, this is truly the rain forecast. Oftentimes, being honest with you, when the data's not coming in, it kind of looks like this. It would just be minus this bar. But literally, we don't have until Monday night our next chance for rain. I might give it a spotty chance on Thursday night, but I still kept it very low because I think it's going to be east of the Charlotte area, and I truly don't think anything is going to hit the ground. It's just way too dry for the time being. We're back here on top of Beach Mountain. Being honest with you, I keep showing you this because I want to see the deer again, but I think that they've moved on, so I'll move on as well. And then our Lylesville camera looking absolutely gorgeous. Just some fading contrails and some upper level clouds off in the distance. Our satellite and radar showing some thicker clouds, especially a little bit further east that you go. This is a stalled system that is right along the shoreline. That is going to continue to sputter in clouds further east you go today, tomorrow, and then again on Thursday. And then eventually we're going to have a front that gets a little bit closer heading into your Saturday as well, and that's going to cloud things up. That's why we're a little bit cooler on Saturday at 82, but then boom, 85 to 87 to 86. So solidly into the mid 80s, even a chance at the upper 80s again on Monday. So that's the thing with this time of year. Typically, we should be averaging about the mid 80s, but you can't discount another run at 90 degrees for one day or more. So this is the bottom. If you like more of that fall-like drier weather, this is going to be your pick of the week. If you like the warmer weather, then it's certainly later on, but really a forecast for everyone. Low temperatures, not as chilly, but still cool. By tomorrow, we have the upper 50s to around 60 degrees for primarily over the next 7 days. And our rain chance, I already showed you a whole lot of nothing. It's really not until Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you have just a measly isolated chance and maybe a pop-up storm or two. So hopefully the same thing goes for our morning commute, Majestic. I hope you don't have a lot of accidents.
It's not too bad as people are heading out. We've seen worse, that's for sure. At least it's a nice start to the day. Sunny skies, feeling nice and refreshing. This is I-77 here. Coming in from York County, you can see, though, parts of I-77 starting to back up, especially out there towards Gold Hill. Here's another camera shot. Similar setup. Not seeing any accidents, no significant delays, but cars are just moving a little slower as more people are out on those roads. Still following this is not cleared. This has been ongoing for over an hour now. This accident on I-85 North. The accident happened at exit 22. It's backed up to 19. So if you want to avoid that stop and go traffic, don't take I-85 there out towards McAdenville. Instead, just take Highway 74 instead. And then we have more backups and delays. Those northbound lanes right here, because there's a lane blocked because of this active crash. It's on Steel Creek Road at Sam Neely Road. I'll continue to follow that one for you. I-77 if you're coming in from Forest Lake, good morning to you. Really, once you get into Mecklenburg County, once you hit areas past 485, that's where it is very, very slow. 485, the inner loop out towards Matthews, nothing we're not used to, but those delays are ongoing. That's what I'm looking at for now. We'll have another check on traffic coming up here shortly.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for our Tuesday Tail Wagger, along with our friends at Animal Care and Control over on Byram Drive in West Charlotte, not too far from Douglas Airport. There are a lot of animals available today. In fact, hundreds available. We're talking about cats and dogs, even some exotic pets available right now at Animal Care and Control. Pictures of some of those available today. Those are our very special Tuesday Tail Wagger. By the way, you can also do the other things besides adopting. You can foster, offer staycations, and volunteer. They're always looking for volunteers. And remember to spay and neuter. The hours at Animal Care and Control, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, both days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, log on to animalclt.org. Get the latest on cats and dogs and rabbits and other animals. That's your Tuesday Tail Wagger. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Well, hello there. Another beautiful day, dealing with some clouds this morning, and I think that we'll have wall-to-wall sunshine a little bit later on in the day. But Monroe, all of our cameras looking absolutely gorgeous. Here's another shot of Monroe looking at downtown. It's up to 56 degrees compared to our low of 54 this morning around Charlotte, 58 in Rock Hill, still 38 degrees for you up in Boone. And then temperatures settling out nicely in the mid to the upper 70s today. 77 our high is just like where you should be October 4th. So yeah, we're a little off the mark, but boy, are we going to see a big ramp up in our temperatures. 80 degrees on Wednesday, mainly rocking the upper 50s for our lows over the next 7 days, and then lower to the mid 80s through this coming weekend. More clouds on Saturday. The top 87 degrees, so almost near 90 degrees on Monday, then leveling out in the mid 80s through the middle of next week. That's your weather. Now it's traffic with Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Heading into our Tuesday morning commute. Here's a live camera look. This is I-77 over there at Gold Hill. No accidents accidents, no big problems, just more people out on those area roadways, so those delays are on. Do want to let you know about an active crash. It is still not cleared. It's been ongoing for over an hour now. It's on I-85 North at Main Street. That's exit 22, and it's backed up to exit 19. So your alternate route is just going to simply take 74 inbound. We'll have everything you need to know coming up on WCNC Plus. Hope to see you over there soon.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. Today, one of the first days of Decision 2025. Right now, polls are open in the city of Charlotte for primary day.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards has been at the polling location since it opened there. And Destiny, so far, granted, it's only 8 a.m., but what has turnout been like so far?
It's been pretty steady here, not the same like you would see in November, of course, but we've been seeing a steady stream of folks just walking in and out this morning. A lot of people a little bit earlier as soon as the polls open, but we've kind of hit a lull this morning. But the biggest things that you need to know before you head to your polling site is which one you're going to. You need to go to a signed precinct this morning. It's based off of your home address, what precinct that you live in, and then you want to have an acceptable form of ID, be that your driver's license, a passport, a military ID, and then of course you want to know what is on your ballot. When you show up to your polling site, you will be asked to show that photo ID, and then you also have some resources here that volunteers will give you, like a sample ballot, so you can see who you're voting for, and what you see is going to be based off of, if you're registered as a Democrat, a Republican, or if you're unaffiliated. And it's really just for the, again, Charlotte municipal elections. You're not voting on the 1-cent sales tax, CMS board members, anything like that. And then you also have the list of precincts on the other side. So if you're not at the right spot, volunteers can help you know where to go. Of course, everything that you need to know about voting today is on the WCNC Charlotte News app. Polls opened at 6:30 this morning. You have plenty of time to vote. They close at 7:30 tonight. If you happen to be in line at 7:30, you can still vote. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, two years ago, we had 5% voter turnout in the overall primary and general election. So
right.
Let's do better than that, Charlotte.
Hopefully there will be a better turnout. And good that people are already going there. I mean, because there's really no excuse. You have all day to go there.
All right, Destiny, thank you.
As voters head to the polls, many folks are left looking beyond traditional party politics. In fact, unaffiliated voters now outnumber registered Democrats and Republicans in the state.
The North Carolina Forward Party currently appealing to those independent-minded voters. Patrick Newton is the chairman of the Forward Party. He joins us now live.
Support people, everybody.
Patrick, I'm not sure if you can hear us or not yet. Can you hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, perfect. We hear some sort of audio in the background. I'm not sure if that's something else, perhaps on your web browser.
I think it's on our end. We're going to work to try to get rid of that.
Yeah, direction from the booth.
Yeah, all quiet here.
All right, we're still working on that. Patrick, stick with us. We're gonna get that taken care of.
I think it might be good now. Okay, so Patrick, I think we've sorted out our technical issues right now. Let me ask you, folks here in Charlotte going to the polls today, voting in the primary, they can vote in the Democratic primary or they can vote in the Republican primary. There's not a place for them to vote in the Forward primary. So how does this new party, how does it fit into this equation?
I understood. Well, one of the things you mentioned is the low turnout in primaries, and that's something we try to bring a great deal of awareness to. There's a lot of work to be done, but it starts with the voters. So I encourage everyone in Charlotte and across North Carolina and the country to participate, not just in general elections for presidential races, but for the local primaries. Your local elected officials really have a huge impact on our day-to-day lives. But to answer your question, we are currently in the process, which is required by the North Carolina General Assembly, to gather about 15,000 signatures of registered voters in North Carolina, and that'll give us permission to appear on the ballot. So in the future, hopefully in 2026, you will see not only Democrats and Republicans for choices, but you will see Forward Party candidates on your ballot as well.
So, Patrick, for those people who are watching this morning, maybe they're Democrats, maybe they're Republicans, maybe they are unaffiliated, they want to know, I don't know about the Forward Party. What are your priorities?
So foundationally, we're about electoral reforms, meaning, really fixing the system that we have, the way elections are held, things like term limits, campaign finance reform, for example. And when we speak to voters, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, centrists, independents, libertarians, some of these core fundamental values, really the large majority of people tend to agree on when we talk about making these changes. For example, in the upcoming Senate race, we're going to see hundreds of millions of dollars pouring in from all around the country.
Right now at 6:30, new this morning, details emerge on a crash that sent 8 people to the hospital. Plus, the conclusion of early voting in Charlotte saw voters motivated by both civic duty and personal remembrance. WCNC Charlotte at 6:30 a.m. starts right now.
Patrick, let me stop you right there because we're clearly having some technical issues on our end continuing. Here's what we're doing. We're going to pause. If you can just stand by for just a second, Patrick, because I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but we're going to pause. We're going to continue this conversation because it's important.
Yes.
There's a couple of other important issues we want to talk about. So just hang tight for just a quick second, Patrick. Let's go ahead and get a check of your forecast this morning at 8:06. Chris standing by with a look at that.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Yeah, no, all in all, it is a good-looking forecast. And check it out, a great-looking tower cam on top of here at WCNC. A little bit of those pinkish colors off into the distance. That's what I'm talking about. And really nothing to complain about. Actually, everything to celebrate about how great of a forecast this truly is. We're actually calling this the sweet spot. And the reason why is today actually feels the best. It's less humid. It's sunny. 77 degrees is just like yesterday. So if you loved yesterday, you're going to love today. Boy, is this a good one. And our current temperature is about 56 degrees right now. That is up 2 single degrees compared to where we were just about an hour and a half ago. And that officially was one of our chilliest mornings that we've had so far, and still is. 56 degrees in Albemarle, and then 54 for you in Hickory. We've gained 1 degree, Boone. You're back up to 39 degrees. So the stat of the morning is this is the coldest morning that we've had here in Charlotte since May 24th, or 109 days ago. Our dew points are perfect. This is where I love it. This is ideally where you want to be. It's kind of just like the baby bear's porridge, that just right range. Either side of 50 degrees, it is good. So enjoy it. And then we are going to hover in this range, 45 to 55. That again is the sweet spot. And then after this, it gets a little bit close to that humid line, but not all that much. Seeing this little spike here, bloop, and then another one, bloop. That's on at the end of your weekend, and I think we're going to do it more so next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, that we could even be back to this humid range. All it takes is a tropical system, by the way, nearby to completely change up how humid it's going to feel. I've remarked that into early October that you almost have that summertime humidity can return, so it's always nice when we have a nice little break. And also that drier air is going to keep things nice and dry. That's why you have dry skies and dry atmosphere Tuesday through next Monday. Now, Monday night heading into Tuesday, I think things start to change. Now, the only one, and I actually did not put this here on the map or as any of our nighttime rain chances, we have some clouds that are hovering through today, but there is a slight chance that we could see a little bit of rain Thursday night heading into Friday. Yesterday, the same thing happened where it looked like tonight into tomorrow morning, and then the following night you could have a few sprinkles. I think that's further off towards the east. The reason why you're even seeing this jazz is because of a system that is stalled right off the coast, a stationary front. If this thing had parked over the Carolinas, we'd be talking about a completely different forecast. It would be much cooler. It would be kind of miserable. So we're lucky that it's further east. However, it is bringing a lot more cloud cover for our eastern zones right along the coastal areas. But you start to see signs of rain starting to work its way a little bit closer to Rockingham by about 11 p.m. Once you get to about Thursday afternoon, I think we're going from maybe some darker clouds to a chance for some sprinkles through the overnight. But again, not much is really actually happening here. So that's the good news. And our tropical cyclone activity right now is very, very low. Over the next 7 days, the National Hurricane Center is not anticipating really anything huge that is going to be affecting our near-term forecast. The reason why that we've really been seeing an absentee as far as any of those tropical storms is really because of the dry air that's been working into this area overall. So not the best forecast for that, but that's actually the best case scenario for us because we do not need any tropical cyclones to develop. What's been happening actually recently is I've been reading a bunch of papers and stats of things that have happened in the last 5 years or so. It's been the peak of hurricane season, which by the way officially is tomorrow, September 10th, that we've had solid lulls. Actually 3 of the last 5 years, there's been some sort of lull from August heading into September, and then all of a sudden it makes up for lost time late September heading into October. So I just want everyone to really be on guard starting next week outside of these 7 days that I'm showing you here, because I think things could change quickly, and we have seen it before. That's exactly what happened with Helene. You had 2 storms a week before, and then all of a sudden the bad one came in, and then shortly afterwards by a few weeks you had Milton. Our 7-day forecast shows today is the bottom, 77 degrees for a high, and then the top, 87 degrees on Monday. We have the lower 80s on Friday through Thursday, and then we'll see a little dip in our temperatures, not too much, 82 on Saturday with more clouds starting to roll back in. And I'm not sure where you wanted me to go, Trey. Sorry. Majestic? Go to traffic. Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're going traffic. Majestic, you're up next.
All right, off we go. Hey, if you're just waking up and you're tuning into this dream, here's a few things you need to know as we are getting you ready and out the door. I-77 for the most part has been just fine for us. This is I-77 in York County specifically. It is gorgeous blue skies and sunshine. Backups are starting to build though. That's out towards Gold Hill. Nothing that we're not used to. No big concerns there. A handful of ongoing wrecks though. This one specifically, this has been ongoing for over an hour. I-85 north, if you typically drive this way, especially between Main Street, which is exit 22 and exit 19, this has not been cleared. All of that red again indicating stop and go traffic. It's unfortunate because this stretch usually is pretty delayed this time of the day, but not helpful when you have that accident. So if you're heading inbound, you may want to take Highway 74 instead. I-77 from York County out towards Fort Mill, it's going to be delayed just because we have a lot of people all heading in the same direction, but not necessarily because we have a crash. We do have a crash right here, though. A lane is blocked because of it. It's at Steel Creek Road and Sam Neely Road. You can see the red mainly impacting northbound lanes there. And then again, just wide picture perspective, 485, we're seeing those delays. The inner loop out towards Matthews and Stallings. Those are the big things that I'm looking at right now. We'll have another check on traffic next time I see you back here.
Should say we are still working on that interview with the Forward Party here in North Carolina. Some technical issues there we're still trying to work out. Meanwhile, coming up next, President Trump fighting off more accusations of being involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
8:14. Now you are streaming live on WCNC Plus. A live look at the White House this morning, where President Trump is fighting off more scathing Jeffrey Epstein allegations, this time involving a picture.
Meanwhile, the president has his hands full with the Jeffrey Epstein investigation as Democrats point to an alleged 2003 birthday card from Donald Trump to Epstein found in newly subpoenaed files. But this morning, President Trump denying any connection to it.
As NBC's Alice Barr reports, he is instead emphasizing crime and immigration, specifically that stabbing on the light rail here in Charlotte.
Divided attention in Washington this morning as President Trump keeps his sights on crime and immigration. A first look at a birthday message he allegedly wrote in 2003 to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is grabbing headlines. It's a drawing of a woman's torso around an imagined conversation that reads in part, quote, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." The White House arguing it's a fake and not the president's signature, echoed by Republican lawmakers.
To me, it's just bogus. The whole thing is bogus right now.
President Trump has denied having anything to do with the letter first reported by the Wall Street Journal in July, prompting him to file a $10 billion defamation lawsuit. The House Oversight Committee released it Monday as part of a trove of subpoenaed Epstein documents.
The president now is walking into his own lie and cover-up.
The president focused instead on his immigration crackdown, with the Department of Homeland Security confirming it's launched a new ICE operation in Chicago, branded Operation Midway Blitz. No sign yet of a threatened National Guard deployment to crack down on crime.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
City and state leaders calling it all unnecessary, though a new Supreme Court ruling may limit their ability to push back. The High Court's conservative majority lifted restrictions on ICE operations in Los Angeles, putting a hold on a lower court ruling that blocked patrols and raids based on broad criteria like speaking Spanish. The White House rejecting critics' allegations of racial profiling, insisting ICE detentions are based on a multitude of factors. Also on immigration, top officials from South Korea are heading to the U.S. after hundreds of South Korean nationals were arrested Friday at a Hyundai plant in Georgia. The officials planning to charter a plane to bring the workers home. 3 Japanese nationals were also among those detained. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
8:16 right now on WCNC Plus. Well, it is primary day here in the city of Charlotte, and the North Carolina Forward Party currently trying to appeal to a lot of the independent voters out there. Patrick Newton is the chairman. He joined us earlier, but we had a few technical difficulties. Patrick, thanks for hanging in there. We appreciate it. Let's go back to the primary today here in Charlotte. As I mentioned, people can go vote in the Democratic primary. They can vote in the Republican primary. There's not a Forward Party, but you guys are still involved. How do you fit into all of this?
Well, we're really trying to create a new alternative for voters. As you mentioned earlier, there's more independent voters or unaffiliated voters in North Carolina than there are Republicans or Democrats. But at the moment, we don't have a party, which means we don't have representation. So we are actively pursuing ballot access, which means we need to get about 15,000 signatures as the requirement from the General Assembly so that we can appear on the ballot and give the people some more options.
Palik, can you tell us more about the priorities of the Forward Party for those who are watching who maybe are unaffiliated, maybe they are Republicans or Democrats, but want to know more about another option? What are the priorities of the Forward Party?
Yes, no, it's a great question. So we rely on something called the Forward Formula. And what we do is when we look at policy development, we really try to avoid the binary divisive system that we currently have. And we look at problems and solutions from all different angles. So we do have, until we have ballot access, we have elected officials and candidates that we align with. They sign our candidate pledge, which is available on our website. It talks about things like grace and tolerance and listening and working with people. But we have Forward Republicans, Forward Democrats, Forward Independents, Forward Libertarians. And that's not, frankly, just the elected officials and candidates. I like to think of that for our voters as well. There's many people in North Carolina that, you know, in the past have maybe tended to vote for Democrats most of the time or vote for Republicans most of the time. And that's okay. There's really a home for anyone that wants to join us, as long as they want to be part of something that's reasonable, brings some common sense to the conversation.
There's no bigger story here in Charlotte and now nationally. It's even getting attention than this woman who was stabbed on the city's light rail. Republicans now saying that city leaders are soft on crime. Give us an idea. What would be the centrist approach, the solutions-focused approach when it comes to violent crime like this?
Well, you know, it's funny. We had a conversation with Congressman Don Davis, who's a Florida-aligned candidate. And one of the things he mentioned that really struck home with me is sometimes the solutions to these problems are not nearly as complicated as our elected officials tend to make them. So, you know, obviously it's a tragic situation, but there is, again, I go back to the things that people agree on as opposed to the things people disagree on. We actually are more aligned with each other as citizens than the media or the politics will allow us to admit sometimes. So we would certainly approach this situation trying to find solutions that not only in working with law enforcement, but trying to get to some of the root causes and root problems of how these situations develop and how we can better develop guidelines and policies to prevent them in the future.
So you mentioned that there are some leaders, both Republicans and Democrats, who are aligned with the forward party policies and forward policy sort of the ideas that you have there. Do you think that some of these leaders, though, the Democrats in Charlotte, the Republicans in the General Assembly, are failing voters?
Honestly, I do. I have the opportunity to work with a lot of elected officials, and many of them are truly decent people, really working for the right reasons. And especially when you get into some of the local politics of your city councils, your board of education. But there still are a lot of people in both parties that their solution is to be more extreme and more dug in and go farther to the extreme solutions. It is not working. People are not happy with it. And all the voters we talk to truly believe that we all deserve better. So it's time to really make some changes and present the people of North Carolina with a viable third party that they can trust.
I think a lot of people would agree with you that voters deserve better than some of the representation we get either locally or nationally. But I don't have to tell you third parties historically don't perform very well when it comes to candidates. How are you going to make yourself relevant going into future elections?
Well, one of the tragedies of our current election system is about 80% of elections are uncontested or uncompetitive, would be a polite way to put it. And that's a direct result of gerrymandering. And gerrymandering is a really toxic situation for us, not only in North Carolina, but across the country. And I want to be clear here. It's not a Republican problem. It's not a Democrat problem. It's a problem with the politicians that have the power and that are in control. So we need to change the laws, first of all, to make gerrymandering illegal. But in the meantime, you know, when you talk about third parties and success, we plan to run in many races where for years and in some cases decades, the voters in those districts or the voters in those towns have not had a real choice. Many of our elections are decided in the primary, which is why I would encourage the voters today to get out and participate. But we can really create an opportunity for people in areas that have been completely disenfranchised, again, for the first time in some cases generations, to present them with a true alternative. And that's a different way of going about this, and that's really, frankly, not what you've seen from other third parties in the past. So we're very excited. This is a new and innovative way to create some new opportunities for the people of North Carolina.
All right, Patrick Newton there, the chair of the North Carolina Forward Party. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate that, Patrick.
A pleasure. Have a great day.
All right, 8:23 right now. Majestic has a check of your morning commute coming up next right here on WCNC Plus.
All right, good Tuesday morning, everyone. Traffic seems to be flowing just fine. This is I-77 there at Gold Hill if you're heading out the door anytime soon. Some of our drive times, they are spot on. 30 minutes right now if you're coming in from Belmont. 61, though, if you're coming in from Salisbury. Still following this, it's on I-85. Remember, we do have those delays in place between exit 22 and exit 19. Time for a quick break.
Well, good day to you. Who's ready for another fantastic day? If you loved yesterday, you're going to love today. We're dealing with some cloud cover right now, but a lot of that's going to dissipate heading into the afternoon. So all in all, it is going to be a sunny day to at worst a mostly sunny day. A little bit on the breezy side, and the morning begin the afternoon just like yesterday. A cool breeze out of the northeast, and it could have an occasional gust up to 20 to 25. So literally the exact same scenario what happened yesterday. Yesterday we were at 77 degrees. Today we're aiming our sights at 77 degrees. What do you know? Tomorrow's going to be a little bit warmer. We also should have a warmer start. We dropped down to 54 degrees this morning. That was actually the coolest start that Charlotte has had in over 109 days. So that's the stat of the morning. Lowered to the mid 80s, not just Thursday and Friday, but through the weekend. The only day that really stands out from the rest, 87, technically the upper 80s on Monday. So trending in a good direction. No rain chances over the next 7 days. So enjoy this dry stretch and really mild stretch overall. Majestic, let's see how our morning commute's faring. How are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's a beautiful start to the day, so that sure helps. You can see this is I-77 at Gold Hill. Traffic flowing just fine if you're coming in from York County. You can see some of our drive times again, really spot on at this point. 30 minutes if you're coming in from Belmont, about 45 if you're coming in from Gastonia. Want to let you know about this active crash right here. It's the entry ramp to I-77 southbound from Statesville Road. That lane is blocked because of the crash. You can start to see some of that backup starting to build. I have my eyes on this and will continue to follow it over on WCNC Plus. Hope to see you there soon.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Trending this morning, all eyes on Charlotte as that horrific video of the deadly light rail stabbing of Irina Zarutska continues to circulate online, reaching at this point the highest levels of U.S. government. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he's going to start an investigation today into the murder on the light rail a few weeks ago. Overnight, he told Fox News that he's considering pulling federal funding the city receives for transit. Now, in a statement yesterday, Duffy said that he stands firm with the president's message of zero tolerance for crime, especially on federally funded public transportation. Of course, that could have a big impact on the city's transit plan on the ballot this November, which does rely on some federal funding.
The surveillance video of that attack reaching all the way to the White House. We know the president watched that video, and this is what he had to say.
I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic. Just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible, but just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there. So they're evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
So we reached out to the White House to find out if the president has any plans to send National Guard troops to Charlotte. The White House responded in part that it won't speculate on any policy decisions at this moment, adding that the president cares about ensuring all cities across the country remain safe.
As for local leaders, Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles announced more CAT security personnel will be placed on Blue Line platforms.
WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay breaks down what you need to know about those changes and why some riders say it's still not enough.
Starting now, Blue Line stops like this will look different. Mayor Vi Lyles announcing on X Monday evening that CAT security personnel will be redeployed for a stronger presence on platforms and to increase fare enforcement. CMPD will also increase patrols at key areas across the transit system. But for some riders, the damage is already done.
Unfortunately, now I don't think I will ever step foot on the train again.
DeCarlos Brown is charged with stabbing Irina Zarutska to death last month. The attack was random and unprovoked. Brown had a long criminal record and did not have a valid ticket to ride the night of the incident. Mayor Vi Lyles says in part, quote, "This was a tragic failure by the courts and magistrates. Our police officers arrest people only to have them quickly released, which undermines our ability to protect our community and ensure safety. We need a bipartisan solution to address repeat offenders who do not face consequences for their actions and those who cannot get treatment for their mental illnesses and are allowed to be on the streets."
My understanding is that it was a homeless person with a long track record. It'd be better to have policies that prevent someone like that from even happening in society in the sense that they're taken care of.
Lyles says there will also be more safety initiatives rolling out in the next few weeks, including adding nearly 30 personnel to CAT's security team. Later this month, City Council will vote on increasing the authority of that system.
Julie Kay reporting for us there. You can bet safety is going to be on the forefront of voters' minds as they head to the polls today to cast their ballot in the city's primary.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards previews some of the big races and some last-minute reminders for voters. Destiny, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're at a polling site here in West Charlotte, and we've definitely been seeing people coming out probably before they head off to work this morning. We hit a lull at some points, but for the most part, people are coming in to make their voices heard. The biggest things that you need to know are that you need to go to your assigned polling place this morning. You need that acceptable form of a photo ID to vote. And then you also need to know what's going to be on the ballot. Now, this year's primary election has several offices or several races, including the mayor's office, 4 at-large city council seats, and several district contests. What you'll see on your ballot will depend on if you're registered with a party or if you're unaffiliated. The mayoral race and districts 1, 3, 4, and 5 are all Democratic primaries, and District 6 is a Republican primary. The winners of districts 1, 4, and 5 will be decided once results are final, since there are no Republican challengers in November. Now, voters need to bring a photo ID and vote at their assigned precinct today. That information can be found on your voter registration card, or you can go to the Mecklenburg County Board of Elections website. After polls close tonight, the Board of Elections says they will still work on processing provisional and absentee ballots.
The results we put out on Tuesday night are always unofficial results because we still have provisionals to go through and any cure processes. Anybody who has an absentee ballot, they need to get that back to me by the close of business on Tuesday, the close of election on Tuesday.
And everything you need to know before you head to your polling site is in this story on the WCNC Charlotte News app. But yeah, lots of things that people are choosing to vote for this morning. We talked to one woman who showed up this morning who said that she's thinking about her family, she's thinking about her kids. Affordable housing as well as education are two big issues that are close to her heart, and she wants a city council that reflects those values. If you don't know about, the issues or who's going to be on your specific ballot, there's also sample ballots that are being given out inside when you go to vote as well. So lots of resources so that you're prepared to go to your site. Again, we'll continue to follow everything primary day here on WCNC Plus as well as online.
And Destiny, you say a little bit of promising news is that at least in early voting numbers, we beat out the municipal election 2 years ago so far.
Yes, that's right. So I did check those early voting totals this morning, 13,871 ballots total for the entire early voting period. And that does beat 2 years ago, 2023, where it was 8,639. Still relatively low when you think about, all the registered voters in Charlotte, the numbers that we usually see during presidential election years, but definitely promising that it's up higher. We also have, this November, the general election, and there could be more people voting just because we'll have the 1-cent sales tax, which is a hot topic this election period. So we'll definitely see how things turn out after primary day.
And even better, she says that she saw a stream of people, not crowded, no long lines, but more people heading out this morning. All right, Destiny Richards live for us this morning at one of those polling precincts. Thanks so much for that report.
Well, good morning, everybody. So we've just been watching this beach camera because we're still watching the deer here on top of the mountain. It's absolutely gorgeous up here, just very, very cold, right near freezing. But you see a couple right here, and there's even a little fauna around here as well. So yeah, no, a delightful start to the day, right? I'm just going to sit this here for the next 20 minutes because our forecast is so nice. Just kidding. Let's move on. We are looking at a lot of sunshine further off towards the east, and this clear sky that you're seeing here over in Anson County and Louisville is pretty much the way most of the day is going to look. We just got to road some of the clouds that we have for the time being. Also, just a quick update for our pollen report. It looks like we are past the peak for ragweed, but it's still this time of year that we still have a medium level of the ragweed in the air, and that's also marsh elder, pigweed up there as well. Mold spore is still high, which is not unusual for this time of year. And here are all of our highest pollen counts that we typically have on an annual level. That it's usually grass that spikes right in the middle of summer, but then it's really late August heading into the first part of September that we hit the peak, and then it quickly starts to drop off through September heading into October. So then we just have to get through winter, and then we rinse and repeat, do it all over again. Current temperature is still at 56 degrees. It's been a very chilly start. Boone, you're out of the 30s, so that's a nice little upgrade. 59 for you in Rockingham, and we dropped down to 54 around the Charlotte area, which the stat of the morning has been the coldest morning of the season so far in over 3 months. Now, our fall-like weather today is going to be the most fall-like because we have highs in the upper 70s. Literally, yesterday is today. So I should have used the copy and paste graphic for today because yesterday felt great. Similar range. It was a mostly sunny start, then turned completely sunny. It was a little breezy late morning heading into the afternoon. We have the exact same thing, y'all, and there's not much really to mention outside of that. We could see a little spike as far as the moisture values on Thursday heading into Friday, and then it levels out still that comfortable range. And because of that drier air mass, and since most of the systems and the fronts are staying away from the Charlotte area, we are dry, y'all. So it's a really nice little long range forecast, not really much to mention. And when the weather person, meteorologist, is not having a lot of news in the weather world, that is usually great news for you, meaning that, hey, sunny skies are with us. So enjoy the next 7 days, ranging from 77 today to 87 degrees on Monday. After that, we should be hovering in the mid 80s, so back above normal by the back end of the forecast. That's your weather report. Let's get over to traffic to see what's going on in Majestic's world right now.
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's a nice start to our Tuesday morning. So if you're heading out the door anytime soon, we have a whole lot of sunshine. It's 8:40 right now. Dry area roadways, that's out towards Gold Hill. So that's I-44 in South Carolina. Drive times aren't anything out of the ordinary. It's going to take you about 30 minutes to come in from Belmont and just under 1 hour if you're coming in from Salisbury. We do still have a handful of wrecks. This is going to be our biggest concern right here. The entry ramp onto I-77 southbound from Statesville Road. The lane is blocked because of that. You can see some of those backups there. It's not completely shut, just one of those lanes currently blocked because of that. And then we now have two crashes right in the same area. A crash at McKee Road and Providence Road. I'm going to follow that one carefully for you because there are two cars at least involved in that. And then if you're coming in from Forest Lake, Fort Mill, I-77 northbound, we don't have any accidents, no big concerns there, but this is what we typically see. It's 8:41. Those backups are starting. Those are the biggest things that I'm following for now. We'll have another check on traffic coming up here shortly.
All right, Majestic, thanks. Coming up, we connect the dots on the topics creating a gap among Gen Z. .43 right now on WCNC Plus. The start of the school year has a lot of high schoolers out there thinking ahead to college.
Unfortunately, so are scammers who use financial aid as a way to trick people out of their money. Experts say to avoid these scams, stick to government websites. They say scammers will use urgent wording to try to make you worried about deadlines or major errors.
Scammers know that this is a real dynamic, and that's why they are so persistent in trying to take advantage of students and their parents at this very vulnerable moment.
The Department of Education says you should never be asked for your credit card information when filling out a FAFSA form online. And if you think you've been targeted in a scam, you can go to the Better Business Bureau's website to find a tracking tool to report the scam and look up other complaints.
A heads up for college students this morning. For the first time since 2022, FAFSA will open on schedule, but you don't have to wait to apply. FAFSA making its beta application available to the general public. This is the second phase of testing for its new system. Phase 1 only available to about 3,000 students. The federal deadline is June 30th, but many schools have earlier deadlines, some as early as January.
Well, it is time now for us to connect the dots. That's when we make the news make sense. A new poll shows a growing divide among Gen Z. It's not just about politics, but also how young men and women think about marriage, family, and success. A new report shows Gen Z is showing a sharp gender divide on politics, marriage, and children. Let's connect the dots. The NBC News poll shows Gen Z women lean more liberal, while Gen Z men lean more conservative. Young women are more likely to say political alignment matters in relationships. They're also more confident they'll marry and have long-term partners. In contrast, young men express more optimism about wealth, but they're less sure of finding a lasting romantic partner. This split reflects broader shifts. On gender roles, conservative ideas are gaining ground. Online manosphere content is influencing men toward traditional views and even triggering backlash. This ideological rift isn't just academic, it's shaping dating, marriage, and life goals for a generation. As Gen Z ages, these divides may deepen or shift. Understanding them now helps us see challenges ahead. And that's Connecting the Dots.
8:46 right now. If you're rushing out the door, 55 degrees. Chris, you say this is chilliest morning we've seen so far this season. Oh, we'll be back with Chris. He's going to answer that question.
Stay with us.
Right after this.
Welcome back, everyone. So to answer Ben's question, yes, this was then the coolest morning that we've had this season, and also the coolest one that we've had since May. It's been 109 days since we were actually this cool, and that even includes the 56-degree point. We officially did drop down to 54 degrees just a couple of hours ago, and 24 hours ago it was a little bit warmer, anywhere from the same temperature to 5 degrees warmer. As you can see, that -5 in Charlotte means a 5-degree drop in just 24 hours. But there it is, 54 degrees. Boy, does that outweigh the other 5 coolest ones that we've had so far this season. All of them within the first 8 days of September. It's either been 58 or 59. Nope, not today. 54, standing alone from the rest. Now, our low is going to be up and down, but not too much. Nothing too extreme. Really, the upper 50s to the lower 60s over the next 10 days. As far as our high temperatures are concerned, they've been all over the place, truly. Going back to this graphic, Saturday was at 89. Mid-70s, upper 70s, and we're going to be right around 77 degrees again for today. Hickory matching what the Charlotte area hit on Sunday, and then Boone, you had a really cold start, dropping down to 38 degrees. You'll have a 30-degree warm-up that has already begun through this morning. Heading in the afternoon, power of that sunshine going to be cranking up Mother Nature's thermostat in a hurry. Just like yesterday, you will have a chance for some gusts up to about 20 and 25. Realistically, it's close to that 20 point, as you can see for the models data here. 15 and 20 mile per hour winds occasionally here here or there. If you have any outdoor projects to do, this is the time to do it, my friends, because really over the next few days, it's perfectly dry. It feels great. I've been trying to get some yard work done. I'm going to do that when I get home, just because you're not going to overexert yourself because it's too hot, because I do think once you get to this part of the forecast that it is going to start to feel a lot more humid and a little bit more uncomfortable. This is still fine. This is still nothing like what we had during July, but it is definitely hotter than 77. So a big difference there. So more of the mid 80s as we head into the following week. Our rainfall chances, all in all, dry. We will have the slightest chance for maybe some sprinkles on Thursday night and Friday, but we're dry through this coming weekend, and then beyond that, it'll be Monday night heading into Tuesday that we potentially could have something, and a better look at our precipitation chances long range, just an isolated shot on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. What this also shows is that we're seeing more moisture that starts to blast into the area. That is going to allow for isolated thunderstorms, feeling more humid as well, and we're also heading into week number 2 of the tropics, where things get a little bit more favorable, and some tropical waves could push some more moisture and just a better environment heading into the Charlotte area and just the Gulf in general. So that is luckily quiet for the next 7 days, but in the near term, looking great here in Charlotte. Hopefully our traffic is looking great. I'm going to check with Majestic right now.
All right, good morning, everyone. Well, it's nice outside. Area roadways haven't been too terrible. Got to let you know about a couple of updates, though. We're going to start with this live camera look. If you are getting ready to head out, it's nice out there. It's beautiful. Our drive times are starting to pick up just because a lot of people are out on those area roadways. It's 8:51 right now. 52 minutes if you're coming in from Salisbury. You can still see. We have a couple of things to let you know about. This just cleared just seconds ago. Remember, we've been talking about I-77, the ramp onto I-77 southbound. We still have some delays, still seeing some orange there. However, it is clearing, so making some progress. Otherwise, still looking at this, a crash on McKee Road at Providence Road. That one is going to be ongoing. 2 cars involved there, so it's slowing folks down for their Tuesday morning commute. And then this is our newest one right here at Colonial Road, so make sure you are mindful of that at Colonial Crossing Drive.
This week, we are marking 24 years since the attack of 9/11. The events that day changed our world forever.
Andrew Siff visited the 9/11 Memorial and Museum and the new art exhibit that reflects on that morning.
Nearly 3,000 tiles, each one a different shade of blue.
One of those colors is exactly the way that everybody remembers it.
Beth Hillman is president and CEO of the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. We're inside the main hall, an exhibit that even today, nearly 24 years after New York's darkest day, tears flow at an exhibit called Remember the Sky. The simple concept, artist Spencer Finch's installation conjuring that powerful blue sky as first responders saved thousands. The project also an echo of those who lost their lives, with a modern way to pay tribute this week.
Take a picture of the sky that day and post it to #RememberTheSky. And the reason that makes sense is because that September 11th in 2001 was a spectacular, beautiful day. The color of the sky is something many people remember that day. And when Spencer Finch decided to make this piece, he created this art with a different color of blue for every person who was killed by terrorists that day.
One of the lives lost, Fire Captain Terry Hatton. That's who retired firefighter Tim Brown is thinking about this anniversary. Brown was on command assignment in the lobby of several World Trade Center buildings, but still thinks about what more he could have done.
You went from 7
to 1 to 2.
Did you go up?
If I had heard my best friend, Captain Terry Hatton, yelling Mayday in the radio, I would have gone up. He was my best friend.
Right.
But it was my job to stay in the lobby, and I did not hear him screaming for help.
The Remember the Sky exhibit also contains a famous quote from the poet Virgil.
No day shall erase you from the memory of time.
Each letter on that blue wall forged from the original steel at the World Trade Center.
Andrew Siff reporting there for us. Hard to believe.
24 years, my goodness.
I know. All right, folks, keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Coming up in just a few moments, Jay Monreal is going to join us from the Live Impact News Studio. She'll have all the breaking events coming in from our area. Also, the latest on what's now making national headlines, that brutal killing on the light rail. Perhaps now an investigation to how the city of Charlotte handled that. More on that coming your way at the top of the hour right here on WCNC+.
Well, hello there. This is a great looking 7-day forecast. So I just want to focus it on this. 77 degrees today, 87 by Monday. Each and every day looks to be dry as well. At most, you might have a sprinkle or two through a few overnight events. More clouds on your Saturday, but today is picture perfect. Just like yesterday, sunshine galore, feeling great. Really, today and tomorrow, the best days going forward. Starts to feel a little bit more humid come Thursday and Friday. Let's check our morning commute with Majestic. What's going on?
Good morning. It's been busy across those area roadways as we've been waking up, heading out the door for our Tuesday live camera looks coming in from I-77 out there in York County. Good morning to everyone in South Carolina. Again, grab those sunglasses. You'll need them for that morning commute. Otherwise, we are looking at these drive times right now. They're really right spot on. 32 minutes if you're coming in from Matthews and 31 if you're out towards Belmont. We are still following this where we have a crash. 2 cars are involved in it. It's out towards Providence Road and McKee Road. So be mindful of that and have a great start to your day.